What's up, guys? Atapark here, and with 1 week left until raids for Legion come out, I want to take a look at different aspects that make great players. We're going to look at all kinds of different situations and scenarios. However, because this is a new mini-series of sorts, I want to start with probably the most relatable for you guys. And the reason for that is obvious. We're going to be looking at what makes a great raider, and we all raid. Like, that's the whole point of the channel. Hopefully, if you're watching me here, or you're at least listening to my angelic voice, you will have either raided, have interest in raiding, or hopefully you are actively ready to raid in a week. So, like I said, this is the most relatable one. We'll be looking at some other ones, but with all that being said, these are points, at least a few of them, where they set you apart from a shitty player on up to a mediocre player, and then a good, and then a great player. And I want to point out some of the milestones that will really set you apart and make you that, holy crap, this dude's awesome as far as your skill level. So first and foremost is you are, as a raider, you are in the zone and you know the fight. So that's really the first 2 points here. And I guess, we could break it down. It was marked as one in my notes here, but it's really two things. It's, the raid starts at 8 p.m. You are there ready to roll at 8 p.m. Hopefully some of these here will sound a little bit familiar because we talked about them in our raid etiquette video, but you are ready to raid and ready to go when it is time to execute. You're not rolling in the door at 10 minutes late, etc. And when you show up, you know the fights. Some of the advice that I've always given out to my raiders is, if you know that we are in a progression raid and we are stuck on a boss, you should be able to explain to me the next two bosses that we're going to go to. And the reason for that is we might get super lucky. Things might just click, stars align, and we kill the boss that we're working on, and we could just steamroll the next boss. I've done that. I'm trying to think of the zone here. Siege of Orgrimmar, I want to say, where, we were stuck on one boss, and then we just, the stars aligned and we killed it. And then we killed 2 or 3 other bosses in the same night. And great feeling, but it's really shitty to go into a situation where you don't know the fight. And so that right there is one of the ways that you can set yourself apart, is simply knowing what you're doing, where you don't have to have anything explained to you. And if you want to set yourself even further apart from your general population, the generic raiders, is you have the ability, the confidence, the willingness to explain a fight. Not only do you know what you as a raider, whatever your role may be, but you can go, okay, I am the tank. I will tank him over here. I will move him over there. DPS, you need to do this. Healers, watch out for this mechanic. The ability to do that will set you apart as a raider. You need to be prepared with consumables before the fight. Again, this is something that I mentioned in the raid etiquette video, is the fact that, when it's time to roll and it's time to raid, I don't want to hear that you need to go get your coins. I don't want to hear that you need to, go get food and flasks. Enchants. You should have done that crap yesterday. You should have done that, before the raid. You were sitting in Alterac Valley. You were sitting there, doing a heroic dungeon, which I guess technically speaking, artifact power, etc., for this expansion. But the fact that you don't have consumables is not good. So having consumables ready where you're not asking for things before a fight sets you apart as a raider. And then having extra things that, gems, enchants, etc. on hand, so that if and when you do pick up that new tier piece or whatever, you are ready to gem and enchant it right then and there. You don't have to wait for the end of the night. You have everything set out, 2 or 3 enchants ready to go, to where you can swap gear out, and boom, now you're doing even more damage. We don't have to wait until tomorrow's raid to see, how big of an improvement that piece of gear or pieces of gear are. Uh, Willingness to do menial tasks. And when I say menial tasks, the things that nobody wants to do, right? Everybody wants to stick on the boss and DPS them. Everybody wants to stick on the boss and not pick up ads. Everybody wants to, stick on, the tanks and not heal anybody else. But things like interrupting, switching to ads, soaking damage, etc., things that require you to break away from doing your rotation perfectly. Things that force you to break away from doing damage at all, healing at all. Things like that, where they do lower your damage. They do lower your healing. They make things more difficult. But you're willing to break away and go interrupt that ad, or go, soak that puddle of whatever so that it doesn't kill the raid group. These are things that, while, yeah, they're frustrating and they're a hassle, somebody's got to do them. Nobody likes doing them. But your honest willingness to go, look, I'll do it. It's cool. I'll get it. Sets you apart as a raider. The ability to call things out. And what I mean by that is interrupt order. You know that I'm going to be interrupting first. The warrior is going to interrupt second. And the death knight's going to interrupt third. Whatever. And you hit that interrupt button. And you go, okay, I've interrupted. There, whatever your name is, warrior, it's your turn to interrupt. And even if you want to take it a step further, and that second ability comes out, and you go, all right, Death Knight, you're up. Is that necessary? No, but that puts you even further up that ladder as far as raiders go, because that is the ability to pay attention not only to what you are doing, but the whole fight so well that you can call things out for other people. Calling things out that people might need to move away from, move together to, things that you need to group up for, things that you need to run away to break, or, whatever. You need to call out DPS specific portions of an encounter, or healer specific portions, where you need to burn a certain cooldown, or you need to break off to kill ads, and that your raid group has a difficult time remembering, okay, at 3 minutes into the fight, all the melee need to run away and go do this thing, whatever it might be. The ability to relay things to others when you're calling things out, especially the tanks. Hey, there's an ad in the back that you guys haven't picked up, etc. The ability to call things out. So helpful. And then bonus points if you are willing and able to, or I guess able and then willing to taunt an ad that the tanks have not picked up, call it out, and then bring it to the tanks. Now, obviously, your amount of classes that are able to do this are fairly slim. But if you are able and willing to do that, that is so awesome. So the next one here is being attentive. And I really didn't know how to label this one, so I went with being attentive. And that is not getting distracted with the bullshit that comes up within a raid. Not getting distracted with the jokes and the playtime and the things that waste time. And I don't mean don't have fun. I don't mean don't join in discussions, and don't join into some of the fun things that can go on with the raid, because that's why I raid, at least partially. But don't be the guy that is life gripping people, or, doing whatever where you are messing with people before, a raid pull, or, purposefully harassing other people just for the joke portion of it. Yeah, it's funny, ha ha ha, but honestly, it gets fucking annoying. And then bonus points if you are willing to call others out tactfully and bring people back to focusing on what they need to focus. I'm not saying, if you see 2 or 3 people, being dicks and hassling people and wasting time, don't go off on this tirade of, you idiots are wasting my time. That's not the way to do it. Truthfully speaking, you have a raid leader, hopefully, that's doing his job. But, calling out, hey guys, we're ready to pull, it's time to go, whatever it might be. Hey, can you guys stop doing that? Yeah, you're going to be, party pooper, whatever. But you know what? We're here to raid, right? Like, that's the whole point. The last two, the ability to avoid fire. It's an obvious one. Every raider is supposed to do it. Few raiders do it quickly enough and willingly enough. I got to get that one cast off, so I'll stand in this for 2 seconds. And what happens is, this is probably the easiest and most important part of raiding is don't stand in bad shit. But people don't do it. It is the least utilized piece of advice is don't stand in bad crap. The saying goes, and I've heard this a billion times, since I started raiding. A dead DPS is no DPS. So if you have to sacrifice a little bit of DPS to move out of something, that's better than no DPS because you're dead, or because a healer is out of mana, because they are trying to heal you, flash heal, whatever, do that quick expensive heal, and they can't keep you up. And you create this ripple effect where you say, I'll get off one more cast. Well, that means the healer needs to get off one more heal. Well, oh shit. Now the tank's low. He needs to get off, 2 or 3, quick heals on the tank. Well, now he's running low on mana, and that DPSer, on the other side that, accidentally got hit by that raid mechanic is now low, and ripple effect because you just didn't want to move out of the fire. Last but not least, and probably it is the least, high DPS. Truthfully speaking, on this list, it is last for a reason. It is an important part of being a raider. High numbers, doing, high amount of healing, high amount of damage, tanking things well, properly using your cooldowns. It's not the most important thing. The most important thing here is synergizing with your group. Making sure that people are synergizing and that, things like this ripple effect aren't happening and people's attention aren't getting, whisked away and they're not getting distracted by stupid shit to where, you're wasting 15, 20, 30 minutes doing silly stuff every night during your raid, where people aren't willing to interrupt or, interrupts aren't going off, people that don't know how to do a fight. These are the more important things overall rather than I need to make sure that my damage is high. If all the other things are there, your damage is going to be okay. With all that being said, like I mentioned before, this isn't a complete list. There are a billion small, minuscule things, and there's some big ones that I probably forgot that make a good raider a great raider and make a mediocre raider an okay, decent raider. Let me know in the comment section below which ones did I forget about, which ones did I didn't mention, which ones do you guys think are super important. Let me know. Hopefully you guys like what I'm saying here. If you do, hit that like button, hit that sub button. Both of those things encourage me a great deal to continue to make this content. If you have watched this far, thank you so much for supporting me. And until next time, guys, I'll see you.